Sanje Chodam Choji Chonga Janjo Daji Chijen Sonanki Droga Venture Sunday Get it.
Today, also the recording the main
I don't know recording not much good.
What's it on?
It's okay.
Yeah, Mary.
Yeah. My dear recording you over there. Yeah. Oh yeah. Daya ta kade para som kade bodhi soha daya ta kade para som kade bodhi soha daya ta kade para som kade bodhi soha. Ola sta mo na bjun shin chen ta ka che simje tamje ga to ja la na ma che ba san je ko ba ro chin ge to ba de che de jan jo se ba la je la chu shi de na so na wa le shi ba to ba to je shu ma no ko de an ka zo ba de la me ge shu ni ge sam sam che.
So let's begin as usual by setting our motivation to do whatever we possibly can to attain the pure state of enlightenment and by perfecting all the trainings on the Bodhisattva path. And of course we know that in order to perfect those trainings we need to really have a perfect understanding of what they are about, and to gain this understanding we need to be able to rely upon a non-mistaken, fully complete presentation. And so it is with this in mind that we are here this morning to listen to such a teaching from the Graduated Path to Enlightenment series of teachings.
Sorry, I forgot my glasses. Oh yeah, here. Sorry. I stupid. 당시 남준의 신체 전에 같이 뒤엔데라 하는 탑절을 투제 정보 때문에 또 마셔져 또 봤었다. 아니 다 돈배 투가네. 왜세 땡조도 초월했잖아. 나는 냠래 질러 주벨라마. 야도에 차네 마주배 질러 주벨라마 되게 셌다. 아니 얘다 유연이라. 왜세 초월을 아니 그러다 가져져다 삼았다 주길라마나. 저 잠반에 주바다 삼았다 주게 되는 저도 잠배야는 주배 되게 셌다. 뒤 잠들라는 가소래. 가담게 하는 주바숨 라블리 밤명아바 슈바베 주바 디샴데라 장고나마 종가바 쳔베 주바 되게 삼타 제압서 숨내수란다 주바 되게 라그 되게 자라라마나 마도 예윤일 되게 삼타 아니 뒤엔데라 랑이 가서 소 뒤엔데라 랑이 되게 자라라마라 아니 가자다 초동고도 라마도 거는 봐 디샴데라다 아니 라베다 내조지도 주주도 자주 전에 계산 사게도 전에 ane kaso de jeres la sobe da kaja jeres da jalo university gela sobe ane chachu sebe so ko de wa di sham de la ran je ne de ba ko shu su ma sta kaja ma sa ma me ba chen se da o de che.
And so as well as usual we begin by setting up in accordance with the preliminaries the merit field, at the center of which is the central figure of Shakyamuni Buddha, Ninja Vajradhara, and from that central figure light rays emanating in all the directions, and that the upward light rays establishing the consecrated practices lineage at whose head is Vajradhara. And then on the left and right we have the extensive practices lineage and the profound view lineage headed by Maitreya and Manjushri respectively. And that amongst them all the lineage gurus related to those particular lineages. And then below them we'll have also the lineages of the schools of the Kadampa lineage, being the Lam Rim school, the textual school, and the instructional school. And then below them again, on both sides here again, the Geluk tradition, at the center of which is Lama Tsongkhapa. And then at the feet of the main guru, the main figure, just below the throne, is established the grouping of our own teachers, those from whom we have received teachings. And in the middle of that is our root guru. Then around those, again close by, are the different sets of the tantric lineages, the Anuttara Yoga Tantra, the Charya, the Yoga Tantra, the Charya Tantra, the Kriya Tantric sets. Then below them again, the different Buddhas of, say, the 1,000 Buddhas of this fortunate eon, and the 35 Buddhas, confession, and so on. That grouping, and then below those, the high bodhisattvas, kind of 8 close disciples of the Buddha, meaning the Chenrezig, Manjushri, and so on. And then the different the Shravakas and the Pratika Buddhas, the Arhats, then the different the Dakas, Dakinis, and finally the Dharma protectors. So that we establish in that space in front, in our minds, the entire merit field without exception.
What in this conversation? That again, and the dog and swatching the dog, Joe or Taba, Tuga one, and was a part of Mabaton, and Shingram Jana, you will issue by Jantan, and the dog issue by Chasa, the Tim so some check what in the conversation.
And that all of these figures in the merit field are marked by the 3 syllables, Om, Ah, Hum. And from the Hum at the heart, light rays emanate, and they enter into the pure realms, inviting all the wisdom beings from those realms, which come and then enter and dissolve into all of the figures in the merit field.
And swatching the data was a Tanga nation, it is you have the mind bajene. And swatching the data and the same thing to to be to the bear, Casota, she would be desirable you take and to a part of a part to the young Casha to some thing to Jen, so to young Casha part to the she would Takaja, some thing to and the Casa de Takaja, instead due to the non taking what did the compassion.
And that the merit field that we visualize here is not something static, but extremely lively and active, and that constantly there are members of the merit field emanating to exit and leave to fulfill the purpose of sentient beings, and then others having fulfilled that purpose returning back to the merit field, so that it is really kind of a busy intersection of coming and going to benefit sentient beings.
Or Casa Dangarazo to one is it Dangarazo to a company of New Marwa, company of Dungeon, the Nema in Bachetan, a common to a part of Mabotuni. Rather, Social de Shushiban Rana again, to a subject to a part of a part to young to a suit, young to young part of part. What did the chen?
And so it's not like us, we have to kind of like exit the house and take the transport or something to get to our destination. From the point of view of these enlightened beings, they simply emanate replicas of themselves that go forth, benefiting, and then returning back again. So it's a very straightforward system.
What in the competition? What in the set? Chidang Maraza, Chilet, and what she was said with them, did the year some subject, did the year some what in the competition? That in a and the Yala Duma Mende that you what the society Jancha, what in the chap, what in the chap.
And so it's understood, of course, as beginners, it's quite difficult for us to kind of perhaps visualize in great detail all of this merit field. But at least we can have the certainty that all the members of the merit field are present, that they are there. Then we make the offering of the 7-limb practice and the mandala in order to purify negativities and to accumulate positive merit.
他刚才我初三集章的修改，但我做初心三大边做初三集章的切度说三大过程，但是初三集章给人这个说的，人家蛮牛吧伊呢，人这个他说的当这个年了对某个月，上了人举了嘛给人。他我的那个捐嘛不用有本上，说是第八的这边红给，他第二的刚刚这个查出个也不用切度，初三集章的修改全部的，我的钱，
And this process of purification and accumulation of positive merit is, of course, extremely important in many ways. This is the whole purpose of our visualizing the merit field, because we need to use the process of purification and the accumulation of positive merit to actually kind of fuel and not only being able to assimilate what we are studying, but also to generate that into realization in our mind stream. And it's through, the lack of purification of obstacles and obscurations that we fail to be able to establish these realizations in our mind stream. So it's in many ways very, very important, this process of purification and accumulation of merit.
我说对的，俺大概那些我说这个写把到举来解释个的，我说昂比写白给，俺写昂比写白给，俺这个瓜怎么了嘛？第怎么了？偏头个药嘛？他干是解气血的，俺让给俺告诉的，他跟他写把主播的。一些困难的问呢，俺写到几个去，但一些困难问呢，写到几个的，大概是军在蒙古上路当前呢，俺也把年呢，俺他这个有的拉车把接当，俺有的多把距离给把接这，他的这屋了，昂比学把咱们了，等等这个恰恰的七百呢，我说多把给多个嘛的，俺是吧？俺昂比学把这个哪个给学把去了哇？是吧？他马他多的马着呢，俺别学把长梦。 다 가서 셰바 참모다 다 겨왕같이 탐제라 조투근 게 셰바 된대지 아니 원도 조네 아니 되게 아니 가서다 다 셰바 제다 디 아니 똑바 줄이 게바 제고도 와 다데 오비 셰바 되게 셰바 파라 파레
So it's very important for us to understand too that what's the level of understanding that we need to establish to be able to facilitate realization. And so this has to go beyond any sort of physical, sensual assimilation of information. We don't gain the necessary depth and subtlety of understanding through our senses, and that this has to be understood. And that here, of course, senses, of course, are just temporary anyway. These will kind of dissolve at the point of death, and that we need to access then that which is made manifest at that time, more subtle mind, even the level of subtlety of mind that takes us from life to life, go from past life to future lives, and that to make that manifest in order for that to be able to make the realization at that level of our mind. So it's very, very important that we are able to facilitate this process of understanding as well as the understanding of mind at this level through this process of purification and accumulation of merit.
我的讲是吧？我的讲，但讲说，他这个中间三路单呢，一些你把接到用过，但他先把差都说你把接到他的考不的，因为没把一切个存在个，没把存在个，那三路单呢，我就觉得这个没把存在个，往下那把这个说嘛，听的，往下那把这个说，那个别。没法说了算的，一些可能我都觉得，第二一些差到他的，我都觉得钱的，这个鱼多把钱，但是我给什么用？但对了，错上这张多钱不就没了？用途也可能没这个钱。
So this is really a process of being able to move our understanding of reality from the more coarse levels of understanding to the more subtle levels of understanding. And this means we need to be able to move from the more coarse levels of consciousness to the more subtle levels of consciousness. And this is established again through reasoning ability, to be able to take in the information, but to then be able to apply valid reasoning, logical reasoning to that in order to be able to access a more subtle understanding. And this is again facilitated by our mental sense consciousness. This is what we're able to do in this case. It's very, very important that we do this. Now, of course, this is not readily available to us, but we can be very, very sincere in our approach and really have a sense of deep aspiration to be able to achieve this in the future, and a deep trust in the process of purification and accumulation of merit to be able to facilitate this.
What is commercial? What is your what is Jetona? And it did Namlin, Dendek, and Samlote, and Katu Yine let to a chair, and did let to a Yena, and Nilam Nale let to Echta. Nilam Nale let to Nilam Nale let to a Jona, ni Tubuko, ni Mebecable, Nilam Mebecable let to it. That the Joanna and Chiducable let to it. That Chiducable letona, and Gawachima let to it. Because she ever taught that led to it. That did of the time that you go.
And so, to me, this, this approach is very good, it's very reliable. If we can integrate this in our practice and then be able to use it, the process of accessing more subtle levels of understanding through reasoning, valid reasoning, that we can then make use of that whenever we need it. And if we can use it like that, have that sort of pliancy, flexibility in how we apply it, then we can eventually be able to use it in our dreams. And if we can use it in our dreams, in our sleeping state, then we can use it in our waking state. If we can use it in that way, we're going to be able to use it in our death state as well. And that's most important, because that will determine our future lives. And so it's very, very important to be able to engage in this good preparation at this stage.
There's a what that Swasa done the show get away, but what did it? Swasa did Jenny and never need up jet, the only Sheva never need a meva, shed up my bachelor. Ye dinner and I she tattle, Katsigi, and tattle, toy, lot to get it, and Chicaso that I don't want to that you your mother, you know, never you jet to the summer that I never need a church. What did it? What did it commercial? What did it commercial? What did it?
So yes, the importance then of this process of purification of negativities and obscurations on the one hand, and the accumulation of positive merit on the other, is extremely important as like a fuel to our practice and a fuel to our being able to gain conviction in our reasoning, and by going beyond just interpreting our world through the senses, and to rely on the reasoning that comes from a more and more subtle access in our mental consciousness, and that this more and more subtle kind of levels of understanding that are made available to us will stand us on good stead throughout our spiritual lives. And to the degree that we don't have them, we can augment our approach of purification and accumulation, and our approach of applying valid reasoning with a sense of deep aspiration in the future of being able to having kind of the wish to be able to access these more subtle levels of understanding. All of this is extremely important.
And that social did said and social ticket the union and the lang tagodoya and gentleman marking a simple time, that time just left to want to twice down in a rangi when I done it to do yoga in any rangi, Pama Pinja. Tomola sobat the Samota, and it's a Pamia Simja, Taganishi, round the Titonic, down to the June with the Simja said that what the and the Nepa in the Tapanjaji, but also better Australia, but social Desaka, the dinner Simja, Pa, Jemeta, Tanadinara, in the India, Tantino, and the Nepa in the city, the Nepajan, that Austria, Young Georgia, the Nepajan, in Indonesia, the Tejapan, in the Jacket, and Simja Yonzo, Samota, Yamena, and it's me to and high Hamayi, and the Sugan Sumeka, Tani, Nawayi, that to do last or 22 subject in the Jazraeli, and some of that to win those three. With the summer, and the number of years of such, and the number of ministers, and it's social data, and easy because of that, never you again. What did it Samota, and what is Copashe, what did it Copashe, and to never reduce to a notion, and the dollar me be ninja, and social data me be deba. what the legend one, what a question, what is it?
And so now we reflect on the good qualities of the merit field, and we also are cognizant that we are surrounded by all mother sentient beings, and that this is just a very general term, of course, all sentient beings, but here we bring it down to include in that grouping our parents, our relatives, our friends, our acquaintances, the people that we can put a face to, those that we know. And so expanding that out then to include, all the sentient beings I am aware of, I know, and all of those in the area of Narre and beyond, in Victoria, in all the different states, in Australia, going internationally, and all the sentient beings of this world and all worlds, just including it out so it has some sense of a tacit reality for us. And that when we visualize also, we can visualize all the beings of the six realms, not just human beings, but animal realms, the Asura realms, the celestial beings in the desire realm, and of course the hungry spirits and the hell beings as well. All of those beings of the six realms that we feel they are all there, all surrounding, that they are representative of their particular realm, but they have an understanding, as if they had a human intelligence and understanding, and in that way, like us, they are able to appreciate the qualities of the merit field and look to the merit field with a mind of faith. Whereas we also, as well as that mind of faith towards the merit field, we are cognizant of the various sufferings of all these realms and all the beings in these realms. And all sentient beings, and so we are also having that attitude of compassion towards them as well.
What is it? Tim Abjana, Chidam Duji dos Kogan Soja, Shipsabu, Jotobaina, and a Semjel maybe Ninji, Doji, because of the Doji, Putaga John to it. Tim or Semjan Tamjas, the Semjan Tamjas of the Doge Pig years until a Niji getting so. Rangatil you got Donasha, Semjan you may Dona Mavja. 다들 내가 도서가 랑이 틀려 이거는 두고도 지당고도 sem제 탐제 또 sem제 탐제면 잡아도 니지 개고 열다 얘는 고조서다 랑이 틀려 고수고도 근데 랑이 틀려 이거데 얘는 시고저 도나 맞아 이나 얘는 sem제 탐제 된 두개 있어도 얘는 가장 책상 차도 내가 도와.
So this process of establishing these attitudes of faith and compassion in this way may take some time, but this is time well spent and very, very important to be able to appreciate the kind of like in a particular way why we can develop compassion in this way. This is a very, very important to get beyond, say, for example, this bland generalization of all sentient beings. I develop compassion for all sentient beings. It's very hard to get a real taste of what that really entails. So it's important for us to bring it down to the particulars at this stage, to understand these particular sentient beings are representative of all sentient beings, and being able to feel that sense of the need to relieve their suffering, and therefore a kind of a visceral sense of compassion for them, and that love towards them, and so on. But this is very, very important that it begins with these sentient beings. It begins with the sentient beings who are right next to us now, and those who we encounter on a daily basis, and therefore we need to behave towards them with the sort of compassion and love that we want to establish for all sentient beings.
What the compassion and Semjala maybe ninja and the social maybe that Devata Dava Ichi to and maybe Devala Deva Sub the bear, to get what is anything on a tapa, what is it, and then social to get the yard doing it. And I mean, power country children, so much chicken, ya, Timmy, and that's watching Zogo to Rangi Lama said that Tijaza Lama party. In the jungle, Lama Tonga, but you went to get the chicken with Ya Timmy, and because of that, and because of the jungle Lama Tonga, but you went to the Katanga Lama, the Katanga Lama, you went to get the and because of the because of 다 공부를 다 받에 다 왔다 발라서에 다 가자데 가서데 다 사무다에 주바다 다 가자 단다데 아니 가서데 잡아다 자야라서에 잡아다 아니 토메라서에 다 가자 자체 주바디가 마티 디가 야야 때문에 아니 잡아다 아니 제서 잡아야 파팀전 아니 초신게 아니 디 가서大了，你这个做个大的了，你们进来就把那么的进来进的回家，就是叫多唱趴的，我他那么俺了面的，大家觉得等于说些用着是的，多考不的多，但那么俺了面的个这个身体 exercise 说的差点了，但那么俺了面的多是要用的，我那地方都下这那么俺了面，我这的是我这的想，俺那这个的俺那叫多唱的，那么那么多唱分的。아니 다들 잠자한 지가 될 라마 토한도 장파데 라게 디자 자에 라마데 라마 토한도 장에 토가 내수 삼상 어디를 고마시 어디 아니 라마 토한도 장 대다 때문에 군주 차대 어디를 지 고마시
So this re-establishing this sense of compassion for all sentient beings all around us, and this sense of faith, the faith of which is pure faith, faith of the faith of conviction, faith, manifest faith, or aspirational faith that we have towards all of the figures of the merit field. And that here then we have done that, start the dissolution of the merit field, starting with the figures on the lower part of the merit field, the Dharma protectors, dissolving into the Dakas, Dakinis, and Arhats, and so on, all the way up each lower grouping or line, dissolving into the one above it, until they all dissolve into the figure of our own root guru. So that remains. And then all of the figures on the left and the right, starting with the Geluk tradition, dissolving into the Kadam traditions, dissolving into the traditions of the extensive practices, including the likes of Arya Asanga and so on, and then the tradition of the profound view, including the great gurus of like Arya Nagarjuna and Chandakirti and so on. And they all dissolve into the heads of those two traditions, being Lord Maitreya and Lord Manjushri, respectively. So then the figures behind the main figure, the consecrated practices, lineages, dissolve upwards again, one into the next, until they reach the top figure, the head of that lineage of Vajradhara. So now we're left with the 5 main figures of the merit field, being the central figure, and then our root guru, Lord Manjushri, Lord Maitreya, and Vajradhara. And that is a little bit easier to visualize, so we try to stabilize that and kind of exercise concentration, just seeing those 5 remaining figures as being somewhat less complex than visualizing the full merit field. And then we begin the process of the second level of dissolution. And here it starts with Vajradhara, moving down and entering into the crown of the central figure of the merit field. And then simultaneously both left and right, Maitreya and Manjushri moving in and dissolving into the merit field. And finally, our own guru comes up to the heart center of the main figure and dissolves into the heart center of the central figure of the merit field. And so now we're left with the last and main member of the merit field, the figure of Guru Maninja Vajradhara.
아니 들라 저기 가서 조금 지기네 다 조금 자 남들 배나 저기 시내다고 또 인데 지기 뭐 있나네 아니 왔다 근데 소신 세다 초사 집장체 아니 소신 수도 아니 또봐 다 가자 또봐 왔다 또한 다 때문에 군도때 아니 되게 되다 시내를 공부는 다 대충도 아니 충조지 받아 되지 로한테지 대부제지 왔다 되게 지기 왔다 되지 주나다 그만 충분히 야가 있고 왔다 되지는 쌤때 다 신의 두빈 잡든 왔다 되지 왔다 다 간제 가리나면다 소사 집장의 신의 그 도박이 와라 소사 집장 걸 다 간제 그래서 개발했다 지금 소사 집장 말고 용해 걸으면 봐 我听着讲的，我听着解读的讲过，那么我现在公布是人家的多把的些一个赛的，没把这对了，初三就讲这初心赛的，第二对讲，初三就讲这个，我当也不修教的，也不修教的，我听着讲的。
And so that and then we can engage in at this point if we're in practicing to develop, for example, mental quiescence. We can engage in placement focus, placement meditation, just on the figure, the last remaining figure of the Buddha in the merit field, and that here as well. It's still important that this is preceded, if we're engaging this kind of concentration, developing concentration practice, that it is preceded by the practices of accumulation of positive merit and the purification of obscuration and negativity. And so this might take the form of just what we have described thus far, the establishing of the merit field for the purpose of just that purification of negativity and the accumulation of positive merit. And that seeing when it comes then to the dissolution of the merit field, in that context, we're left with the last remaining figure of the Buddha, the embodiment of all refuge, and we focus on that, and then we minimize the size of the merit field, bring it right down to very small size, and being able to then establish our focus uninterruptedly on that to increase our mental quiescence. So this is one context here, but it must be emphasized that the development of mental quiescence, just like in any other practice in Buddhism, requires this process of purification of negativity to really diminish and eradicate obscurations to our development as a spiritual being, and the accumulation of positive merit to power that practice along.
是，本来我那说康巴的女记起来带了这个本来讲到的沙瓦也不去跳舞呢，你看这康巴怎么说了？怎么说也不说这，你说这家那个比他女人的那路了吧？干嘛下个问题，是吧？他的那些人，俺那这个的。个说的，今年了3届的讲究身边困难这个推举个原点就是让就来结吧，了，但是说白了，张妈妈说那结推好了要嘛的哇。
And so it's very simple to understand this process. It's like when we buy a house, we have a new house. What's the first thing we do? We want to clean the house within, to make it as spotless as we can, and then to put the best possible furniture and arrange it in the best possible way so that we have the best possible home to be able to live in. And this is the same. What we are trying to establish is a similar sort of home within our own body, within our own mind, because here we're trying to develop the qualities of the enlightened beings like the Buddhas and the great bodhisattvas within. And so we need to have a proper kind of place for those qualities to be able to establish and grow within us. And this means purification, and this means accumulation of positive merit. So again, we're bringing our focus to focus on the last remaining figure in the merit field, Guru Maninja Vajradhara, the embodiment of all refuge, and to really try to keep our focus there, and then recite the state-like supplication from the miraculous book of the Gelugpas, which begins, "My most divine Guru, Lord of the four Kayas, I make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara," so on.
What it was said, and then that Rangi Chibola, and it's Bamata, Takaja, Caso Bamata, Nimata David, Denge, or Kobashe, and it did then to any started Lama Shaja Singing and Jantani. 반대자라 말다게 좀 그런 고소도 그렇소. 어서도 담배 가서 배 니가 가서 쇼. 쓰면 때도 산제 고만 마도 봐도 다 제소소 다 자고 싶어 자고도 추소 섬선 안 가고 어디서.
And then we establish on our own crown a lotus sun and moon disk mandala cease in preparation for the invitation of the figure of Guru Manindra Vajradhara. And so then we make the invocation verse, so glorious and precious root Guru, come take your lotus and moon seed here on my crown. Keep me safe in your kindness. Bestow on me the attainments of your body, speech, and mind. And this is recited thrice. At the end of the first recitation, the replica body begins the journey to our crown. At the end of the second, it sits on our crown. And then at the end of the third, the Buddha remains there in a steadfast way, and we have this understanding that they will remain with us until we ourselves attain the state of enlightenment. And that brings great confidence and joy to the mind. And so that so therefore it's something that we have, that certainty that the Buddha will remain with us on our crown, to be there to look after us until we attain the state of enlightenment ourselves. And this is something wonderful. I rejoice at this great advantage I have. And this is really a way that I can fully work towards bringing happiness to all sentient beings as well.
집에까지 또 두셔서 다 수좀 가돌려 와다 수좀이 냠냠을 주다 되네 집을 라마라 검심뱅가는다 마센저 탐정에 저도다 요한이와 양도서 산제 고바를 보셨다 마다는 타마도 토바찌거든 진내죠 토바찌기 토바자 다 안에 토바자 안에 안 대체도 다 가서 다 가서 대체도 다 미게 줄라 소베서 소바찌다를 켈라면 동바다 개외서 녀준남 반에 안에 개와 줄래 내가네 돈에 추진돼 왔다 되지 내가 지금 있어 왔다 내가 지금 있어 왔다 삼다
And so in last week we had to a certain extent completely finished the perfection of generosity, the instructions on that, and now we'll proceed to look at the perfection of ethical conduct. And here in this way, again, we bring ourselves to remind ourselves that we are engaging in this by understanding our Guru is there on our crown, and that we take in the promise that we understand in order to benefit all mother sentient beings. I want to quickly attain the state of enlightenment, and the precious state of enlightenment, and I will do whatever it takes to be able to do that, because I see that there is no other option but to attain that state of enlightenment if I want to benefit sentient beings. And so, with that in mind, I take into account that I will really abandon all of the negative, unskillful actions that I have engaged in, especially where they contravene any vows that I have taken and committed to, such as a refraining from the 10 non-virtues. And so here, therefore, I will recommit to abide in the 10 virtuous actions as the kind of like main primary vows of my ethical discipline.
아니 뒤때도 다 가자 저기 자주세백이 또 말레네 다 가자 저기 장세가 또 백이 다 가자 가서 다 자도 제게다 니제 시줄라 소거들 용거요 다 가는 저 나기 다또 온롱 때부터 온롱 땀 내가 쉬바 있나 다야 들어배가 나기 다 똑같이가 용거 왔다 되게 되니까 다 소에 수죠 수고요 왔다 되잖아 왔다 가자 왔다 다 가자 다다다다 다다다나 예주 나 예주여서 그래서 예주 남무서 반에 개와 줄을 내번에 동배 추점스다 가자 동배 추점기다 조어제 어때지
And so here, when it talks about here abandoning of the negative activities and abiding in the 10 virtuous actions as the main or principal vows of ethical discipline, it's discussing the ethical conduct of refraining from 10 non-virtues as the foundation of ethical conduct. And of course here, it's something that's essential to all the 3 different vehicles, whether it's the individual liberation vehicle, the Mahayana vehicle, or Tantric vehicle. It begins with these basic ethical conduct and refraining from these. Of course, then it's included in ethical conduct the vows of the different Pratimoksha vows, the Bodhisattva vows, the main vows, the secondary vows there, and the Tantric vows, of course, as well. But they all begin to have their foundation in the ethical conduct of refraining from the 10 non-virtuous actions.
What is what Miguel Chubu Sudum Second Kanjaji Second Peche Junda Yuga Chulu Pechata, the Yetigro, Taina Lokta de la Cortesha Tatos Chulu Soso Loga Yuga, 2 more solid one. 2 more solid one.
And these 10 that are outlined as the 10 non-virtues, or the ethical conduct of refraining from the 10 non-virtues rather, it's kind of like, by and large, the kind of ethical restraints that are advised in all the great spiritual traditions and religions around the world. Perhaps apart from the 10th of those, which is wrong view, which of course would be different in different spiritual traditions.
Yeah, that's also true. Wrong view, Zidan the Loga Yuga, Zidan dos Loga Yuga, Shenda, Kanga Miguel Chubu Sudum the Church. And they got the letter, they got the Choi Kemalinga in the Choi Kemalinga in the Jigden Takato, Jigden tea, young Tabe Tawas in his that Jigden till Yapu Yong Tap chicken takes okay, Miguel Chubu Subu chatted one. Penangas, Penagaga Timgo Jordan, so in the Java in the Kochi Java in a soft Jovatan, Machiba Lembata, Lohin, good Yeverwa. And June Tama Tisu, Najas and the game, or Yota Yungu, we need no much of a soldier water. Rua, that they get the young head, the Kavada Yungudon. Lunagi, Lutangagi, doing the young head the Canadian Yungudota, and the Yig sum the young take it to Nax and the nurse and the Logda dinner, young take it to one. Young take it to what? The contract, Chu get a Mashaba in there, and they get in Yabado Yapuchan. Sungo, so let's take it to one.
And these 10 really are so common and so general that they should apply even to those who don't accept any spiritual tradition as well, because they are common sense, and that they are kind of a worldly ethical path that they can follow. And because indeed, many anyway, are written into the various laws of the land, isn't it? Like when you look at the first 3 of the physical negativities, so killing, stealing, and many types of sexual misconduct are prohibited by law in different countries, and that this and so on. And indeed, also those 4 related to speech, harsh speech, divisive speech, lying, and kind of like useless talk, are also behaviors that are not encouraged, let's say, that because everybody through their own common sense knows that this kind of behavior leads to trouble, and so they're kind of like in one way prohibited. But it's also understood that these first 2 categories of physical negativities and verbal negativities, making up 7, arise from the last 3, which are the mental non-virtues of covetousness, malicious intent, and wrong view. So they have their source in these mental underpinnings, really, and that then they arise thereafter through action, physical action, or verbal action.
The Luda Nagi doing the actor surgery. because Naxam Nusen Lokta, the director of the Redwa.
Yes. So yes, they're saying that the physical and the verbal negativities are like actors, and that the mental negativities are like the directors of the action. So
You want to take it to what that is interesting. Donaja, what does you want to take it to? That to get the into that to get more trouble and that point of change. That Chula can just struggle yourself up Pena, issue with Chulu Chima or that, then they're chicken and Chuchim tea. That day while Madame and Chuchim Sone and check the Caso that Kunjo don't like get the happen like get each other, issue with church about it. And it Tabatobe Chedo Java in it, that now be church out of good. Now that teacher so Chulu so the Jebuka teacher the Javaina, and Taba Tamdi Java the Cheddar, that be church. What I got the Jenny and Jebuka is done the Yemen and Chulu Chago, the Koran, the Koran by the Ganga language. The Chulu get a Kangaremodo. That Chulu child Kansa so and it Jebu Kandela done the Negoyana, and then Jebu did Dube Chedo. And it did because of the nigger that make it to the band of Jade and Chulurana so Jebu Mindala and Jena Cheda, issue with Cheda, that Kaji Cheda, there is Chato.
So that we, this abandoning of such unskillful negative behaviors as delineated in the 10 non-virtues is something that's held in common to greater or lesser extent by all the different spiritual traditions. And that the difference is that one engages in whatever ethical conduct is advised within, say, Christianity or any other spiritual tradition in order to gain a particular result. And so from the Christian point of view, the goal is to attain a life in the presence of God or in heaven. And from the point of view of Buddhism, the goal is to attain the state of liberation, the omniscient state of enlightenment. And so here is one engages in any kind of established ethical system or conduct in order to get a result, to get some sort of result. And this is the case between all the different spiritual traditions. They have an emphasis on different aspects of ethical conduct, be it whether you are a Buddhist, whether you are Hindu, whether you are a Muslim, Christian, in order to gain the results that are how do you say, part and parcel of that particular tradition.
What did I Miguel to the Kanga Sungoich, in a Sunga Jumse Mindawachi, Debu Mindawa, that check Kemalanga Jima in there, or not me Yakujo Echedo, not me Sangucho Echedo, not at the Sosugata, Chicaso, me put to a Sula Casoda. Kimza Yaku in Beg, me Yaku in Beg, Yaku Cheto, me Yaku in Beg, number Cheto, that Titi Cheto, Jete Jongwata, you don't take it water. In a that, Jebu Minda Onge and Che in the main Kavashago, like your Chima Pejala pay in a church. Setila pay Chet Jeva in that Chema Basoch. Chatting water, chatting in a that, called Jebo the Kanga Jebo, so chatting what in the jump. Because we get you students with the Chulu get a remendo. In a that, Chulu the Ganecha to call Jebula then and Casa so Jebu can do Milatan, like your Chima Pejal and Chulu Chatu. Chulu Chatu, and dinner that Jebu Minda Onge and Chulu Minda Changua.
And so in brief then, the content of the 10 non-virtues or the ethical conduct of refraining from those 10 is hardly said to be a spiritual matter at all. It's just common sense. But the results for which one engages in abiding in the refraining from those 10 non-virtues, it becomes then a spiritual matter, depending on what is explained in different spiritual traditions that one will gain from leading such an ethical life. And that, for example, even in the person of one who does not accept any spiritual tradition, they will engage in certain kinds of ethical conduct that may involve what's explained in the 10 non-virtues and so on, or refraining from those, is in order for their result to be a good person, to lead a good life, to be seen as a good person, to have a good reputation, and so on, and that their aspirations are confined to this life, isn't it? And so from their point of view, that's enough. From, say, a Buddhist point of view, that wouldn't count as spiritual practice because it's just related to this life. So that's a different view, different point of view.
아니 녀모 중산 고대 안 류가 이숨 되는 연구 여바 인자 다 류가 이숨의 약고전에 다 지금 다리 약고전 맞아 봐 이나 아니 녀모 깨대 보이서 녀모스의 깨잖아 아니 라는 용어라고 여 봐. 녀모스가 판별되래. 용어라베 되어 봐. 욕몽 봤을 용어라베 되어 봐. 아니 미수의 용 되고 말 봐. 된자 다 녀몽 지 갑자기 짜고 여바 이나 아니 이제 미게 주고 추점 마소나 탑 매되겠지. 다 문에 전에 녀모라 라와 마테게 랑게 장문에다 라와 마테게 레데 얘네 좀좀 내주 문에 마시 받잖네 아니 랑라 라와 라토고도 삼자 삼당게 리치 용되거든 다도 뭐 여기 내주 마시 받고게 용되거든.
One point that needs to be made here is that for some people, they regard the whole process or any process of ethical conduct or morality as indicating some sense of a loss to themselves. That if they have to, obey these rules, restrictions, it's a loss of freedom. It's a loss of their independence. And this is because they don't really understand the purpose of ethical conduct, and they understand the power of the mental afflictions over them. And so when one understands that, and that how these mental afflictions arise through the three doors of our experience, through physical, verbal, and mental action, and that we need to really have good preparation in place in order to avoid the mental afflictions dominating and taking over our life. And indeed, that is what constrains our freedom. That is what destroys our independence. And so here it's very important also to understand that, really the very essence of mental affliction is that it afflicts. When it arises in our mind, in our consciousness, it afflicts, it causes fault, it causes suffering, it causes angst, trouble, strife, and that's the only purpose of it. And so therefore, to be able to set up countermeasures through abiding in ethical conduct, it makes very, very good sense. And to be able to oppose the power of the mental afflictions over us is something that we have to do, because if we are simply dismissing ethical conduct because we don't understand its purpose, then we are actually really allowing mental affliction to rob us of our freedom, to rob us of our independence.
Ngaram zoge ane je kaso de nyomo dosong ge xianwa la tane ta kan je chudim ta den de la dona ma je xianwa tane lunga isu ya bu ma so de nyomo be ko gap jung ne ta ta photo ane khwa la a ro da thoma me wan ta photo ta ngaram zoge khami ya da je sa pra to ba sha ja to ba re ane lo tu ta ta je ge 고물로도 다 파바 토메라 소바다 하나도 단데서 다본 가라도 집어 지자래 이만 남시랑 못네 아니 녀모는 국가 마대 받잖네 아니 수dim송 아니 저 로다 수dim송 땡에서 kom 시랍 깨받잖네 람라와서 냠서 라와라 때네 다 라와 쌍마시 더 도하다 라와 쌍마치 더 도하다 배때도 뒤지가 라와시 더 도하 어디 가르쳐서 수정기 시대 시럽 고마다 시럽 때 땡에 저거 좋아다 대봐. 땡데게 시대에 추좀 고발할 때는 중대도 봐. 되게 동서 안 좀자 양내양도 삼았다는 예반예바지 수준이 개체버린 것 셋업체리 개체버렸다.
So the mental afflictions are that which can overpower our mind, and that if we ignore that, if we choose to ignore that purpose, then we are going to, and indeed pay no attention to ethical conduct, of the whole notion of restraint, and then we are going to abide in cyclic existence interminably. And that's why, indeed, we are stuck in cyclic existence since the beginning of this time. So we have to look to, for example, the Buddha himself, the great Arya Nagarjuna, Arya Sangha, the great practitioners, that they started out like this. They started out like us, but they saw the reality of what was going on in their minds. They saw the power that mental affliction had over them. And so they really had struck on being able to engage in and abide in ethical conduct, where they refrained from actions of body, speech and mind, certain actions of body, speech and mind, and opposed the arising of the mental afflictions so skillfully. And on that basis, they then developed afterwards the concentration, the power of meditation to really maintain focus on that. And then from that, develop wisdom. And so, be able to ultimately attain the state of liberation, the omniscient state of enlightenment, solid, permanent happiness, which has come from that. But they saw how it arose from the wisdom that is only can arise from the level of focus and concentration, of really settling our mind to penetrate through reality. And that in turn needs a mind which is settled and free of distraction and negativity, which is only established by abiding in pure ethical conduct. So they could see the context and the place of ethics in the three trainings: ethical conduct, concentration, and wisdom, and to establish that. And so we need to reflect again and again and again to gain the same sort of conviction in our own practice, to put ethical conduct at the front and center of our practice.
아니 지금 타바다 탐제 경발에 도나 요래 얘네 뿌다고 용마도에 딱딱 두마도에 뒤지 먹고 초라다에 같이 딴거 열었으나 말아서 수짐송마도 같이 용되기도 와 수짐송토와 이나 이런 것도 배나 검자가 열대 검야고 요거 말 가서 뭐저 수짐야고 쓴 거예요 말에 아니 류가 이었는데 코라 되바 가이네 제주한테 아니 디다 라다 랑생 시험한도 셈 요몽배 시험한도 죽차도 아니 그 딱딱 용도구면도 와 용도구면도 다 되네 이거 인자 아니 저거 다다 류가 이었는데 돔센데 야고 매자도 아니 검대 잡두고 요 말이 야바이네 비다고 요거 말이 요거면도 와 다 되게 가르쳐서 그 당번에 저기 시대에 잡도 추첨지 야고 매사도 아니 그 지금 알아서 소소소게 녀모의 비즈스는 제가 사고 써야죠. 써야죠. 아니 들라데는 다 땡에지 게두고 요 말이 시라 딱다시 게두고 요 말다. 시행은 또서 신거 때 거의 용마도 가서 시대 추진의 매번 인사 요금도 와. 어떻게든 알아서 먼저 치는 자치면 제도 먼저 가보여. 파샤자 하나 수 자치면 제도. 가리켜리샤. 그렇지는 요금도 땅가 로티가서 뭐 낭주 롭종 제예 낭주가 삼로 땅고 요 검자고요. 당타야 즉 약고 요금은 가리 요금도 안 소도 카츠로네. 아니 심주 제도 심주 개체버려도 와.
So we may have an interest in spirituality, the Buddhist tradition even, to attain the state of liberation, and appreciation of the state of enlightenment and so on. But why aren't we making enough progress is because we are not taking our ethical conduct seriously enough. And because of that, then nothing else really works as well. Ethics is the foundation that we must build everything on. why is our meditation so disappointing to us, and why are we so distracted? Why don't we can't concentrate? And it's here because we are not looking after the actions of our body, speech, and mind. We aren't looking after them well enough, conscientiously enough, subtly enough. And that here when we have a mind under the control of our mental afflictions, both coarse and subtle, and then how can we expect our meditation to really be successful? We might be able to engage in meditation, but then we have no quality concentration, no quality focus in our meditation. And this kind of like means that the propensity for mental affliction kind of keeps this busyness in our mind that makes it impossible for us to really refine our focus. And that without that concentration, then we can't penetrate through reality to develop wisdom. So it's very, very important that we see, avoid kind of any this sort of habit of pointing outwards to see the faults in the world, the faults in others, the faults in everything else, but to really more assiduously turn that finger inwards, to have an internal examination of where we're at, particularly within our ethical conduct, and to gain a conviction within ourselves as the absolute preeminence of being able to abide in perfect ethical conduct as best we can, to really care for what we say, what we think, what we do, and that will facilitate our meditation thereafter. In brief, ethical conduct, pure ethical conduct is indispensable to our progress on the path.
수점 쓰게 개체 모두 수점 송해야 돼. 아니 나라도 라왕 전에 지금 유버스죠. 라왕의 돌아 아니 내가 지금 유버스죠. 아니 라왕 타도가 용해 채도 아니 지금 가서라. 자 내가 지금 유버스죠. 뭐 줘야 돼 개체 버려도 와. 와 오늘 라왕 타치 봐 용해 채. 때도 라왕 용해 채겠죠. 와다 된데 지게 아니 다 락자 유나 매니저레스 디 매바 이나 아니 나라도 토마메바는 녀몽 검시 쳐보 요래 아니 라라 거두이는 녀몽 깨쳐줘 요래 녀몽 깨쳐줘 요와서다 거두이는 하고는 제바데 셰싱 셈는 띠마게 외쳐도 아니 롱아 유송 도미에게 추dim소에 딱 깨쳐보 이삼삼치 아니 디제와도 녀몽 땐도 봐야겠다 가서도 딱 가자 저기 탑시 답에 유연한 매니저 봐 근데 때도 되게 좋아하게 아니 그래서 라와 정말 요하게 아니 배 튕게 라나 매바지 맞지 딱 어떻게 돼 쉬게 깨쳐버려도 와 and 디자와이나 and 추점 소도 좋아지기로 와.
So it's very important for us that we understand that it is only through the purpose of the process of pure ethical conduct that we can really contemplate genuine freedom for ourselves. That by abiding in pure ethical conduct, it will lead us to that ultimate freedom for ourselves. And so, here we have to understand that at the moment we're in a situation where the mental afflictions have kind of got a free reign over us. They arise so easily, so precipitously in our minds and then in our consciousness, and that we don't have the necessary mindfulness and alertness to make ourselves aware that the mental afflictions before that they are in a position to overwhelm us and take over. And so here we have to be able to understand that we need to counteract that lack of mindfulness, that lack of alertness, to kind of really guard our minds by abiding in ethical conduct, that it is absolutely necessary for us to have any sense of freedom.
미게 주고 그 추진이 도매 추진지 조어인데다 누가 있어 도매게 추진고 조어인데서 론남젤레 나남 숨시 이게 랍담데 루이지 미게 와다 미제진 가사 lelam sumbu deda rab jangnya 장송 소벨 람니 토바조스 와다 딜레 니 장바 야부 제나 다가제 디 니 샤와도 마다 제나라 로 가서 루가 미게 주의 샤와도 마자네 야부자 소이나 안 장송 소벨 람니 토바다 장송서 토바샤자 토베 소베 아니 다 람게 바티게테 아니 소술 게 토바조 버레스 토바조 시 소베 치자
So the quote from the scripture on discernment says, guarding your speech, restraining your mind, and not committing non-virtues physically. If you have purified these three action paths, you will achieve the path taught by the sage. And so here again, it's reiterating what has been emphasized here, to really not allow your mind to be overcome by the mental afflictions, to really guard your mind and therefore your actions of body and actions of speech as well, by again having that control. And by doing so, you will be able to achieve the path taught by the sage, which means really the path taught by the Buddha.
What is it? That 수준 야보송 아니나 아니 땡에서 검토할 때는 아니 로다가다 셔럽 딱그 한동 개두고 요래 안 돼서다 안 될라 때는다 사람도 똑같이 개두고 왔다 가자 즉 시부전 내가 사고 쳐들도 와 시부전 내가 사고 쳐들도 와 왔다 되는데 이번에 되게 되고서 저 가서래다 가자 좀 전에 타치바 심에 돈에 아니 지금 수준 송알을 배준 제고도 와 어때
And so then, on the basis of good ethical conduct, we are able to enhance our concentration. And by being able to enhance our concentration, we're able to access a special insight and thereafter the higher levels of spiritual attainment. And so it goes without saying, it is a non-brainer really, that ethical conduct is of absolute importance to us.
What is it? 뒤준데는 다가자 추림다 개와 컨텐츠 두고 이래 뒤준데는 다가자 이제 가라서 다다데 치원 미탁바 세데 제디 개셔버려 somsom도 치원 미탁바디 야보죠 와마줘야 잖아 아니 내가 마티 뭐 뭐지 지한 것도 와 치원 니바 남지 니메 치외의 최마도 강하게 미편 봐 되게 양양도 삼로 따와 아니 지금은 뒤지 여바디 추좀 마소는 탐마거든 뒤지 여바디 땡가서 마도는 탐매 뒤지 여바디 셔럽 마고 탐매 뒤지 여바디 잠인지 장주 선마고 말았다 오늘 뒤지 톨라 주고 여바디다 셰도에지 당보지 치와 미다바 당보 람라 슈에 게 아니 지가서 람라 슈에게 안다 최주베게 아니 가서도 구마지그랬어 아니 발라 아니 최 타치바 요요 구마지그랬어 타 제부터 맞지면 구마지그랬어 가자다 치와 미다바 슈를 계속 가두이네 아니 지금 대세가 스마지에지 개쳐버려도 와 다 치와 미다바 대세도 다 실사래 아카 되게 잡아다 단다기 니바치보다 니바치 매바 차그래 단다 니바 여바디 배주 땅고도 없어 배주 양고 땅에 쳐도 다 치와미다바 제길 시고요 봐
So as important as it is to engage in the proper ethical conduct in order to facilitate the accumulation of virtue for us, that alongside that, and that which should inspire that is a contemplation on impermanence in the form of death, which is an absolute quintessential meditation also. And so it's something that goes hand in hand with a conscientious approach to our life and the time we have left and the quality of our practice. So contemplate that death is definite, that the time of death is indefinite, that only one spiritual practice will be of benefit to us at that time of death. And it's very, very important that it's said that the practice, the meditation on death is good for us when we enter into the path. It is good to us when we are on the path and proceeding on the path, and it is vital to bring about the result of the path. It brings the result to the path as well. And so it's saying here that that reflection on death, and that it really should counter our, this idea of clinging to the idea that, I have lots of time, I don't have time to get into my spiritual practice now. I'll put it off. I'll procrastinate and to later. And you know, we must not fall into that disastrous mistake by maintaining an awareness that death for us is absolute definite, that the time of death is indefinite. We understand that now when we have the capacity, we should put everything we have into being able to engage in good, virtuous conduct, to abide in ethical conduct, to enhance our concentration, to in any way cultivate wisdom in whatever way we can. And so now is the time, rather than waiting for when we can no longer, we don't have the wherewithal to engage in spiritual practice, that would be to make it too late for us.
Because 시그리 봐서 강가 시그리 켜진 거래. 이내 나라도 교회 가서 단지 드려야 시그 말에 세니야 시그 말 러시아 시그 말에 삼비 데네 삼도 되게 고갔던 거다. 티 고갔던 거다.
So you know, yes, we know that we're going to die, but we don't really have a conviction that we ourselves are going to have to participate in that unsavory event. This means that we have the fault of grasping at permanence. You know, we say, yeah, sure, I'm going to die, but maybe not today, not tomorrow, not the next day. And in such a way, we self-deceive, we fool ourselves into doing nothing.
시그마레 다 드린 시그마레 서냐 로차마 시그마 데데 지게 아는 알아서 고갔던 거다. 니마 직 때는 암지게 딱지세는 오고 다 켜나. So
that's the way it is for us, you know. Say, I won't die today, and maybe I won't die next year. I'll be fine. That, and we continue like this, year after year, time after time, to continually deceive ourselves, thinking that we're somehow, immortal, until we go to the doctor, and the doctor leans forward and tells us, I think you have about 6 months left. And then the shock.
That's 6 months. You need to 6 months.
Yeah, but even if you had 6 months, that would be good, wouldn't it? At least have something. But the trouble is, we often don't even have that much. We never know. Because
shopping jet, shopping jet, Krishna look. So the Josh and Mangoyor. Miss Shambala, the day you're going to social Mayo,
and so, it's often the case, isn't it? Like, so often that people go and do the week's shopping, and then they die, pass away, before all of that good and food has been used from the fridge. And so this is common, but they never think like that. We never think that this is the way it's going to be. And so, like, we hear these stories of them occurring to other people, but there's absolutely no reason that the same won't happen to us. It's very common too. You see people going away on holiday and coming back in a coffin. It happens. So by recognizing, just how fragile life is for us, that the conditions for maintaining a life are extremely fragile. The image is often used of the butter lamp in a strong wind. There it is, flickering. At any moment, it could go out. And that we see our lives like, to recognize that our lives are like this, and to kind of like, stop deceiving ourselves, but say, this is the reality, our life is like this, and it should really focus our mind to do what is most important, and that means abiding in great ethical conduct.
치와 연구로서 뭐기만 제거해요 말이야. 그 치와도 내줄래. 깨자면서 치고래. 얘네다 치와 마요가라 뒤지 졸라마다는 개침버려. 어때요?
So the idea of becoming aware of death in this like this is not to freak us out and cause unhappiness. It's in order to really understand what's important and to go before that happens. I must not waste any time. That's the lesson that is indicated by talking about death in this way. Before disaster strikes, I must prepare myself.
다 가르치고 그래. 다 가르치고 그랬으나 가리 중앙에 말이나야 잠니 자주 쌤께 둘에 빼주 땅도 거다. 가리 중앙에 나야.
So then we ask the question, what is it I should be doing? What is the most important thing that I should be doing then? It means the answer to that is that in every moment, whatever occurs for us, we must use the occasion, use that time to generate the mind of enlightenment in our own minds, to develop that loving kindness, that compassion, that attitude of enlightenment in our own mind streams. That's what's most important.
나바이나야 잠니 자주 쌤에 둘에 빼주 땅와야. 아니 기부 중앙에 말이나 자주 쌤에 게 마게바게 둘에 빼주 땅와야. 담배 가서 라이바 소소 컴퍼니 지라 내가 약고지 라와 이바이나 이 잠니 자주 쌤에 돈이 잠니 자주 쌤 둘에 가서 마게바게 내가 매번 잡아이나 이 마게바 맞아 이 잠니 자주 쌤에 귤에 게 마게바게 관에 건도 배게 아니 들 배주 땅도 맞아 딱 근데 중앙에 이바이나 디 마게바자 마가바자 아니 동해의 귤에 배주 먼저 맞아 동해 중앙에 이바이나 동해에 잠지 장주 쌤에 게 마게바게 귤에 배주 땅도 해쳐 근데 제도 봐이나 다 가리 좋아해 봐이나 장주스 마게바게 깨바데 관에 건도배 귤에 좋아해나 라는 밑에 털라 쳐는 두고 요 말이야 시바이나 시바데 잠니 장주스 마게바게 관에 건도배 귤에 귤에지 왔다 되는지 제도 봐이나 단 라면 장바데 고쳐 왔다.
So that means that in every instance and for every occasion we should only have one goal, and that is to use the occasion, use that event to generate the mind of enlightenment newly, or to allow the extent to which we have generated that mind of enlightenment to flourish more and more. And that means whether we are sick or well, we turn our attention to generating a mind of enlightenment. Whether we get a great job in a company, to use that occasion to turn our mind to developing the mind of enlightenment. Or whether when we lose that same job, when we get fired, we again use our mind to develop that mind of enlightenment. And so whatever occurs for us is very, very important. Not to allow suffering and become depressed and so on, to create more causes of suffering for ourselves, but to use suffering itself to remind ourselves to generate the mind of enlightenment, and to the extent that we have that sense of the mind of enlightenment, to allow that to flourish, to feed that as much as we possibly can. And that means that we waste no time. It's wonderful. It's the perfect way to be able to make use of whatever time we have left. And even at the time of death, that's exactly how we place our mind as well, to generate the mind of enlightenment, and to allow what we have generated to flourish and to thrive, and to make the best use of our time. And then we can die without regrets.
What that is 좋아해나? 아니 미스 촌촌아 두고요 말다. 미스 촌촌아 두고요 말이야. 미스 촌촌아.
Then we don't waste our time, we don't waste our life, and also we have done our best to place our mind on the path during that life.
다 되네 좋아해나? 개와치마는 산재 공부 엘리 두마도 보네. 산재 공부 둑툭행게 튕겨 요사제게 다 줘버려.
And therefore, if we can do that, we manage that, then the future life, we will be in a good position. And for those who have the aspiration to attain enlightenment, will have all the necessary conducive conditions to facilitate that goal. So it's like getting our certificate. You know, once we have our qualification, then we get the job. So here we're looking for that qualification to be able to go for enlightenment.
What 주주베디 아니 가서 주주베 다보 못쳐 봐자 못쳐네 아니 데데 주디 아니 가서 좀 모두 봐 맞춰야지 근데 중앙이네 땡기 주게 아니 주베주 땅 주바 중앙 이마이나 아니 강가 통계치 말다 동해 그제 중앙이나 강에 그제 중앙에 대화 주나 이게 주나 근데 중앙에 땡기 디기게 아니 주차봐라 어떻게 되고
So that's what we aim, that whatever occurs, whenever it is, in whatever circumstance, be it in a situation where we're happy, suffering, or neutral, that we are using that occasion to lay down the causes to establish genuine happiness in the future. And that once we recognize that and have conviction that that is a worthy thing to follow, then we are able to isolate what kind of causes will lead to that result and to take every opportunity then, every experience of life, the pluses, all the minuses, it doesn't matter. We are just employing every moment of life into being able to establish the causes to achieve that goal. Thus, we will make the most of our life and not waste any time.
What is it? Shoga lawane konda manya bada nyeba de ani kasade jige chötübe tüngele totuwe o de ne da kas 24 hours 7 day de stotuba ina de stotuba ina o da sanje kombasa tarbu yugo mare.
So by being able to really establish this attitude from the moment we get up in the morning right till we go to bed at night throughout the day 24/7. If we can do that, then we will be for sure the state of enlightenment will not be distant for us.
장민지 장주 쌤세게 가서나 지금 소소게 아니 지금 가서다 가서다 지금 소소게 내절 서로 소토라나 랑징게 되는 소토가 있나 어쩌바잖더니 아니 다 틱사래 되네 틱사래.
So by being able to establish the cultivation and the expression of love and compassion as our nature, as our kind of like automatic response, as our nature, then that's fine. That's all we need to do.
What's just what that 기부 고조사래.
Then happiness begins there. That's definite happiness begins there.
나라도 다다 로충에 걸어 우유 싸싸네 아니 로게마 차도다 배주다 인선 깔려만 보자고 여봐 깔려만 보자고 디 가런디 요 말이 다 잠니제 장주 그 쓰면 각각 잠니제 장주 쓰는 게 아니 마지막에 줄고 어디 가런디래.
And so if we look at the current lifestyle of being working throughout life in order to establish a good retirement, you know, and that this is the way the tremendous effort we put in during our life just to establish that great life in retirement. No guarantee, is there? No guarantee of that whatsoever. However, if you spend that time cultivating loving kindness and compassion, then you're guaranteed to have good retirement.
No, what the touch us are. What are the 다가자 되게 뭐죠? 가서다 지금 셰바고 조다 사이콜로지가 조다 약보신고도 뒷마시는 것도 되게 뚝뚝 말해 사이콜로지가 조다 약보시나 아니 먼저 되게 뚝뚝 그래.
So we really need to establish this as our, psychology, a good psychology, that we can recognize what really brings happiness. And that to gain absolute conviction in that, in order to really dedicate our lives to that goal. That's good.
심지어 수임바이는 소소를 자와 메가 수여라. 심지어 수임바는 소소 디기 제도 가래 자고요. 심지어 수임바이는 얘네야 디기 용교 잡라 동네 빠도 메가 용 되기도 와. 다 초주 산자다 자주 삼바때다 탐제기 아니 지금 라시 심지어 탐제기 아니 동네세다 대화 두비에게 다 대화 두투가 정도도 호나조 디기 빠도 메가 정도 가르쳐 호나조 그 사이콜로지가 조단되고 신고요래. 간제서 그 대화 연구도 간제 그 동의 연구도 뒤하고 싶어서 뒤다 두 번째 아니 때도 되게 연구여 봐. 나라도 다 심지어 되게 라는 개체 버스를 다 토마 매번 다 개체 버스는 영화 단다보다 코알인데 동의 빠도 매번요. 다 되게 여 뒤에도 와.
And so this is the difference, really, you know, that we, so it doesn't matter who that sentient being is, that everybody wants this happiness. They don't want anything, any suffering. And yet, in the course of life, from their best attempts, they are bereft of the happiness they want, and they're inundated with the suffering and disturbance and frustrations that they certainly don't want. And so this is we just need to see the contrast then between us indeed and all sentient beings, like with the great bodhisattvas and the Buddhists. Like they have focused on, you know, eradicating the suffering of others and developing love for all other sentient beings, and as a result, they experience continuous, unbroken bliss and happiness for themselves. And why is that? Because they have worked out the psychology of happiness and suffering. They've been able to work out what the causes of suffering are that must be abandoned, and what the real causes of happiness are that must be accumulated and established. They have got, you know, the pristine, correct view, correct psychological approach to that. And so we should take a leaf from their books and do likewise.
초주 산자의 장주 선바술을 잡수 주고 요. 어제 남바이라고 잡수 주고 요. 다 잡수 전에 최서 아니 몰롱 잠 대셔 뭐 콘주 컨데스전에 대화 죽도. 컨데스전에 동네세도. 때문에 신바전에 아니 진당시 아니 제일 배수 제고도 와. 배수 제고도 다 되게 잡아이나 아니 나라서 다들 공기 다 코나 쪽에 다 플로어스에 젠다 운에 차와로 와.
And so, you know, this, from our point of view as well, like the mistaken psychology that we engage with life with is that, you know, we have this far too much importance placed on ourselves and what I can get from myself, you know, first and foremost, number one. And so this is incorrect psychology. This is not going to establish happiness for us. And this is, secondly, when we are, from the point of view, a Buddhist point of view, we go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. And, you know, that has implications for us. We make aspirational prayers to be able to develop the qualities of the Buddhas and enlightened beings and so on. And so if we have that, then we have at least some tacit acceptance of the psychology that they have used to be able to attain the states that they have attained. And if we do that, then it really is it's kind of like logical that we put our efforts into emulating the same lifestyle, the same approach that they took in establishing their high position. And so it's very important that we see that there should be that psychological definite link between what we purport to have faith in, what we say that we have trust in, and the kind of effort then that we follow up with in the process of our lives.
我的大学接受发展做的，俺出去老师为给我弄，大伙见的是，让就了嘛给我给我那俺光的朋友给我这个家的，那是甚至他们家出去了过呗，在给我那么大我了家呢出去去来了，给我叫我是可是让出去。比他们送多了，把出去，出去比他们送多，但咱们是深圳县，俺出去那么大把了，俺送出来吃到那个 example 也不对呀，没也不对呀，俺大概那些个，俺带他出去送业了，俺这个抓给，我他带的接触吧，这个意思，这个意思，呀，就告诉他开不脱呢，说大概这个对了，没，俺对跟这个现在然后这个的先别脱呢。我大概出去了过多钱，我的这个叫我是，我这是大见到了，俺把这这个拉多说是，俺把这把的马上呀，但就是那个军把的，通常的把的开把对呀，俺这个怕这种那么艰难的出这个怕这个人没，然后娘说让我了把这把的马上，俺在那人家回答我说对个，俺告诉这个这个拉说我的恐怕想我的想。
And so then also saying that we in the kind of process of really cultivating, developing our own ethical conduct, that we engage in the 6 perfections, such as generosity, and of course the virtues of ethical conduct itself that we need to develop in our own mind stream. These virtues to the extent that they haven't been generated, and to allow those that have been generated to flourish and expand. And that in this way, we need to develop it in ourselves in such a way that we act as an example of pure ethical conduct for others to follow, and to establish them in good ethical conduct as well, in order to lead them to the path of maturation and liberation. So this is important that we use also skillful means in this regard. Taking into consideration the different conditions and different aspects, the timing and so on, and what is appropriate. But in general, that we are, most of all, the example of the ethical conduct that we would like to lead others into as well. That's very, very important. And so then we make our aspiration of Guru Deity, please bless us to make this so, and employ the descending nectar light meditation with the Guru on our crown, the Buddha on our crown, with the 5 colored nectar lights descending and purifying all negativities and obscurations in general since beginning this time, in particular those negativities and obscurations to our developing pure ethical conduct. And also we feel that we have been thoroughly blessed with the power to really purify and refine our ethical conduct into the future.
我的这我的那么就把这做我的公巴些我的大家出这么的来呀那个做的大家这个来说说出这比大不说出这个原点就是出这么说的大太说了是那他是没有那个这么说的那么一点开始多新闻呢按第原点同来多大这个蒙古学吧我大原点同来多呢按这个的按第不这个点都第几个那就这个有吧按这出这么说的按这个就米亚波的事业上点这个光马好啊真的 수준 송에 뒤 딱한테 지금 가서래 땡기 뒤기 두고 해봐지다. 뒤 가서래 딱한테 제가 섬제 탐제도 산제 고마 두고 딱다 대바치베 취해 임바인자 섬제 탐제도 산제 고마 두고 해줘도 아니 수준 송고 요바치. 라신 니가 더 타지 못 두고 해줘도 아니 수준 송고 요바치. 원한테 이제 고롱 차네 원한 개체 보시고 그래서 수준 야고시고 송아이네 야고시고 송아네 송에 돼. 미 야고라 그래 미 가고 용거 되는 소리 송아이는 아니 세대 되나 쳐 봐라. 최고나 차요만. 깔래 잡아도 또 동원하게 도 야고다 레데 이나 도다 쳐볼 좀 도움도 다 개와치만 하다 미 고마들 쪼지체지만은 아니 다 기부 중의 취하면도 납치 뭐 용도 도움도 아니 대가들 타바타베잖아 다 타바 그 도그러면도 탐제 개백주로 정보도 딱까지 심지어 탐제도 사제 고마토베 쳐도 잡아이나 다 아니 샤바디가 건가 사이드 에펙트도 샤바디가 사이드 에펙트도 다 뒤에 인자 디임바에서 심지어 탐제도 사제 고마토에 쳐지 당연히 이제 아니 추점 될라야 아니 파지 누가 이걸 추점 그 지바 아니 추점 그 추점 아니 추점 그 가서 다 쇠바 추점 소리에서도 강해체도 쇠의 그 쇠바 안 추점 그 준주 추점 그 땡에지 추점이랑 시가 맞주바 때네 추점 그 셔랍 어떤 파지 누가 다 짠이 아니 사무단의 지고에 어디서
So it's important then to really apprise ourselves of the great qualities of abiding in ethical conduct. And that here it's to really be careful that we don't simply have the notion that it's some sort of endurance or restraints that we are putting ourselves under that will, lead to a sense of missing out or even resentment, but rather that we should encourage a sense of rejoicing and really being delighted in the pure ethical conduct that we are abiding in, that we are able to keep. And that here, comes from really understanding the qualities of ethical conduct, of seeing what the context is for our ethical conduct. Remember that it is the foundation for us to really establish genuine happiness, permanent genuine happiness. And that this is the reason why we do it. And we must avoid any other kind of like lesser reasoning, like, if I'm living in good ethics, I can be seen as a good person in the world. I can have a good reputation in the world. This is too narrow. This is simply a worldly aspiration, not account a spiritual practice at all. Of course, it's good to be seen as good, but that should not be your motivation. And that we really, the only motivation should be that we want to attain enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings, and to have that bodhicitta motivation that is going to fulfill the purpose of oneself and all sentient beings. That is extremely important. Not enough even that I engage in ethical conduct for a better future life, to have a future life as a human being or a celestial being. It's good, but that's really not that special. Even to a motivation that I will engage in good ethical conduct to attain liberation. Again, that falls short. Our motivation will be to attain the state of enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings and lead all sentient beings to that state. And so that is the key motivation for us to engage in spiritual conduct. And indeed, in any case, by maintaining that motivation sincerely and genuinely, the rejoicing and the happiness of ethical conduct will arise for us as a side effect of that motivation.
What did it say as well?
And so also to maybe to contemplate the perfection of ethical conduct further and further and further, just like we did with generosity, so that we include the element of ethical conduct in all of the different perfections, or indeed include all of the imperfections in the practice of the perfection of ethical conduct. So we have ethical conduct of generosity, ethical conduct of ethics, ethical conduct of patience, ethical conduct of enthusiastic effort, ethical conduct in concentration and in wisdom.
다 되게 그래서 지다 지금 배나 수준 코로나 찾아봤네 파지 두고 냐면 제도가 수준 코로나로 파지 두가 돼 지마 코로나로 파지 두가 돼 제요. 왔다가 어디든 파지 두가.
So this is like really saying that that ethical conduct is not simply an isolated practice to be done outside of the other six perfections, but indeed all of the six perfections are kind of subsumed into one's perfection of ethical conduct. So let's leave it there for today.
다 개치슈들라 개치슈들 주변에 진짜로 다 가져 어서 미진 되다 때만 지고도 아니 저 비근데나 왔다 가서는 잠이제 장주서 섬부터 이게 좀 장세 양다가 다오고 섬부터 아니 때는 장주를 셈지 다 근데 좋아하는 장주를 셈기 줄을 배주 당도 같이 다 때는 좋아하는 아니 기술 좋아져야 주는 메커니즘 셈들라 같이 가서 다 직분에 거기에 드링아 뒤져 쳐라서 드링 야고 중무서 될 시야 먹고 요거도 왔다 근데 좋아이네 자주가 맞아봐 게 귤을 배주 땅 줘도 봐이나 아니 거기에 자주가 셈기 아니 딱 산제 고마 규주 죽토나 딱 틱대요 다 뒤져 쳐라치요 말 가바치 봐이네 가발래 봐이네 아니 근데지다 투봐이네 이게 탐체 아니 근데지 좋아이네 이게 탐체 자주가 맞아봐 게 아니 권에 본도 폐기 어떤데 지금다 다들 용모에도 소소 삼로단다 라리 그러면 그냥 출로네 왜 개요 말이야. 출로네 용에 근데 중앙 이바이나 소소 삼六톤에 자주서 많이 받게 관한 건도 폐기다. 지금 소소게 지금 가서 됐다. 요아시 땅도 봐이나 왔다 쳐 가바이나 레디거다. 뒤도 쳐라줘야 강해요 말이야. 용어라에 강해요 말이야. 왔다 되고도 많어 왔지도 전바다 시신 그 쓰는 띵에 랭겐이 섬사 제도에 다들 좀 개쳐 버려. 대 중앙에 뒤도 쳐라줘 말이야. And it's setting what they were there, what it's setting what they were there, take the okay money.
And so really, we all want to lead a meaningful life. This is very essential for us. And that we really, to use all of what we have available to us to be able to do that. We need to be able to understand, where to put the emphasis of our attention here to develop, the proper mind of renunciation, of getting definite emergence from cyclic existence, to develop the mind of enlightenment and the correct view of emptiness as well, the three principal paths. To be able to put that, the sense of the kind of like the practical application of all that teaching in the cultivation of love, in the cultivation of compassion, whenever and in whatever circumstance we find ourselves in, and indeed whatever arises for us. We need to develop this strength of mind that is constantly and naturally, spontaneously focused on and developing this mind of enlightenment through, the love, compassion that we can show in whatever circumstances we find ourselves in, and to always have at the foremost of our thoughts the ways in which we can increase and cultivate that notion of the mind of enlightenment. It's very, very it's important that then thereafter, to the point where nothing, whatever happens external to us and around us, it doesn't impact on that. That we are simply able to use whatever arises to fulfill that aspiration, to increase the mind of enlightenment in our own mind streams. And to really, we have to, in the meantime, work at developing a non-mistaken approach to this mission, to this goal, because it really has to be our deep sense of personal responsibility. That said, I am going to be able to do this. I'm going to make my life totally dedicated to developing, cultivating the mind of enlightenment and increasing that sense of concern, loving kindness and compassion for all sentient beings. Like I need to develop my mindfulness and my alertness in being able to keep the mind firmly on that without distraction and so on. So that is that sense of deep responsibility. But this is the real purpose of my life. When I talk about making my life meaningful, this is the direction I should take.
미대베 동에 망고지 용대에 가르스는 것은 가르스 잠시 자주쌤 고마도도 용대고 요봐 미대베 동에 강가가서 랑첸즈를 때려 용대고 요 랑첸즈 다 다려서도 대화 중간에 동네 중간에 잠시 자주쌤 고메디 예 랭겐이 삼삼전 예 랭겐이 삼삼전 다 그게 치게 근데 중간에 잠시 자주쌤 맞게 게 관에 본도 배 줄을 배주 땅도 딱 양서 단단 거서 제불 롱집에 두지 말에 거서 디게 중나 근데 되게 용반이 예술에. 뭐지? 다른 것도 유튜브에 뒤주래. 유튜브에 뒤주 가리 유튜브로서는 때도 되게 유튜브로. 딱 가르쳐 거는 장조가 쌤 맞게 맞게 건도 번치나. 딱 먼저 그 랭게다 딱딱 두바래. 랭게 딱딱 두바래. 아니 랭볼 마도 봐. 아니 때도 되게 용해서 다 쳐버려. 그래서 유차단 참아이나 제불을 나와 요 말이야. 제불을 나와 매고 용 거래. 주마자와 이나 제불을 나와 전에 편도 말이야.
So, when we feel that too much of that which is undesirable arises for us, that, we are constantly up against it, so to speak, this is really in an indication that we are not spending enough time on meditating on love, on compassion, on the mind of enlightenment, and that we're allowing too much time for our self-cherishing to get the foot in the door and to cause this sense of pinching the mind into unhappiness. And so here we have to understand that we have to be able to be skillful to turn any kind of external condition that arises for us into the fuel for our cultivation of the mind of enlightenment. And to say, what is the key emphasis of this time? It's not simply to go out and experience the thrill after thrill after thrill, to kind of see that my time here is just to experience this sugary happiness. It's the time to create the causes. This is the causal time. We need to create the causes for genuine happiness in the future, for what is really meaningful happiness in the future. And this is the understanding of the law of cause and effect. If we establish the causes and they are full and complete, the result has no choice but to manifest, to ripen. And so that's what we are about now. And this is the causes of developing that mind of enlightenment, the causes of developing loving kindness and compassion to bring about that inevitable result for us.
그래서 출로가 짜든 줄 때나 하고도 그래서 먹어야 짜디 내라고 싶을 게도 거기 요 말때 내봐 강에 싶을 자고도 가서 콜라 유다 깨다 강가 초대요 봐 초대고 내가 이게 뭐요 그러봐 그냥 뭐저 빼샤와이나 출로가 짜 출로 그라스 짜 먹어야 돼 짜 먹어야 돼서 콜 내라고 싶을 게도 나라도 되와 요 말때 내라고 싶을 게도 다 깨도 돼 가서 콜라 유다 깨다 강가 창자로다
So again, so this causing, listening to, establishing this veracity of the law of cause and effect, to say, in the outside, you always have the grass grows, no matter what you do, it just grows anyway, and the weeds along with the grass grows, Why? Because all the necessary conditions are there, the causes are there, and so the result of growing long grass is always in our lives, and we always have to deal with it. So this is the proof of that. If the causes are there, then the results will naturally come about.
딱 가려서는 교가르자 째주는 두배 동네 교가르자 째주는 방에 대외 교가르자 째주는 아니 두배 다 뒤집어는 게 당연히 사이콜로지 약부신 것도 아니 뒤도에 다 두배다 안 동네 세지.
So that's it. If the causes are all complete, the result will come about, whether we want it to happen or not, whether we like it or not. Like weeds in our garden. So we have to really work on the psychology, the perfect psychology of going, okay, that's the formula. If I create the correct causes, then that will lead to that result. And therefore, I need to be able to isolate what the causes of suffering are, for example, what the causes of happiness are, and to make sure that I avoid the former and I really concentrate on the latter, to establish the causes for a genuine happiness in the future and to trust in that process.
Never do it, that Yanjunji is Samlotan, and caught Tanja to make Rashi Imba, to make Rashi Imba, and Dilla never to make Rashi Imba Samlotani, and Yanjunji is Samlotan. Yanjunji is Samlotan, Takaja, Tungesubo Kano with Takaja, you had to make Tawa to Jig, Takaja, quality get such as Tawa to Jig to win the Mideva. Rather, and the Chaba to Jig to win to win water, telling Yavacho, Yanjunji, the next Yanjunga same day, and running the Pamata Getcha, you saw some chat.
So, first, we reflect on the concept of renunciation, of gaining this definite emergence from cyclic existence, because we actually see now that all cyclic existence is in the nature of suffering, whether it's suffering of change, or a pervasive suffering. And as long as we're in cyclic existence, we never get beyond pervasive suffering. From that contemplation arises the eight-petaled upturned lotus.
What is in the Pamata to so such a water? The nigger Tapanja never to a Yanjung, what the getting and not the Kawatu. Some stuff not the Kawasuri, not the Zejo, not the Kawatu. Louis the river, send the river, what that ever cheddar, and that not it, but that Nigmarwa, Manibati, or same door shop. The nigger same day, and you make him watch you so such a payment, and you make him watch some time.
So then we reflect on the I that is developing this renunciation. this self or me or I, and that we ask the question, okay, where is this self? Where is this I? Is it within the body? Is it within the mind? And we set out this the investigation of where that I is, and that not finding that I, and we just pause on that not finding that self, that sense of self, and from that arises then symbolic of that is the sun disk mandala.
我的这个，说肯定行不行呢？我有点的主把对上民族，但对上没法赢不赢咋？没法赢咋？他现在他们家，这个商界恐怕主他是看看就他建了点的主把想，有点的没主把咋？他就他建了点的主把赢不赢咋？他，我他这国家多，点咋？现在他们这个多多商界恐怕这么主把他们的主把这个上么的。
And that all phenomena lack any objective existence. That goes for all phenomena completely. But that means that they can be established in terms of causes and conditions. And so that introduces the possibility of being able to lead all sentient beings to the state of enlightenment by establishing the causes and conditions to bring that result about. And so, with that in mind, we contemplate the notion of bodhicitta, the mind of enlightenment, and that is symbolized by our visualizing the moon disk mandala seat.
让个人给别嘛大家，你嘛大约点着，大点的，让个基本了，那么同样多讲赛道，同样多讲，基本嘛简单的，办的这个，那么这不是大概应该别个可能故事都是或者是随着这当别告诉别，你别告诉说，顺便告诉点出三节工嘛都接说能搞好。
So we established this lotus sun and moon disk mandala at our heart center, and now focusing on the Guru Manindra Vajradhara on our crown, we invite that figure to the center to sit on our prepared seat. O glorious and precious Root Guru, come take your lotus and moon seat placed there at my heart. Keep me safe in your kindness. Bestow on me the attainments of your body, speech, and mind. Again, we recite this thrice at the end of the first recitation. The journey begins down through our central channel, and the second, at the end of the second recitation, the figure arrives at the seat that we have prepared. And at the end of the third recitation, again we have that conviction and certainty that the Buddha will remain with us until we ourselves attain enlightenment.
我基本的嘛，讨论因为说是顺便搞点着三节工嘛都做搞好大，甚至到三节工嘛都把结束什么搞好。
And that's something that we really rejoice in, that we have this assurance that the Buddha will be there looking after us until we attain the state of enlightenment.
아니 되네다 님 배마 답게데 아니 이래서마 카솜자 남준님이 내다는 시 인데서 디칸들 도지가고 생각봐 지게 아니 가서다 가서 도지가고 생각지 못했지 정말 다 렌데바 지 못했지 고마시.
And now the 8 upturned lotus leaves enfold the figure of the Buddha that has arrived there, and it is sealed at the top with the 5-pronged white lotus. And white Vajra, sorry, not white lotus, white Vajra.
What is named? What is the and then that rank use and the Lamatuan is sunk and le section rank chibone what are the damage and then you died of money harmony or so then you call a sum championship. And this Shamdela and Arabas are not this and then you call a sum championship. This Shamdela Tendenga, Yetama, Hedotava, Tataka, the Hedrota, Mashaman is or Tendenga Yusum call. What in the Chikovashi?
Now the enfolded lotus petals are again sealed with the encircling mantras, beginning with the main mantra of Shakyamuni Buddha in a clockwise direction, the mantra of wisdom Amarapat Sanati in a anti-clockwise direction, And thirdly, the mantra of dependent origination in a clockwise direction.
And then that you and Lamatua Doja, Dile, Gule, Veset training, Rangi Chibone, Kantiga Pala, and Veset training, and the Casota, Rangi Lunga, Yusumi, church to be Gegen, that's what they will Mabala Soba, and it's that Gonawa, the taxi Tobolata, Subukan and Kariova in that, Tagani Singa Chicasota, Chin and Sansuke, and the church to be Gegen, Kariova, and that, she was Chungsu Samsancha. She was Chungsu Samsancha.
So, and then from the figure of Guru Maninja Vajradhara, within the enclosing petals, light rays emanate and permeate and enter into every cell of our bodies, from the crown of our heads to the soles of our feet, and they eradicate all inconducive elements and conditions to our being able to engage in practice, such as any kind of discomfort in the body that we have, any unhealthy elements in the body, such as our blood pressure or anything else, and that any issues body, any kind of unhealthy elements of our body, so many. Any faults, whether they are internal, external, or secret issues that we have within the body, that they are pacified and that they are cured.
And Lunga is so Kyonjakaru, take no Shiva Cheso, Dagani long Tigre Kyonkari and Shiva Chunso. And Hakdo, New Sanja Komatovala, Tamega Kyoria. That Tamega Nation, the Kyon Tabja Jan, and Kanatanja, Tabaraja Bashi Chatu, but Nubacha Chunsu, some Kauko.
And likewise, the four elements in our body, they are rendered balanced, and the channels, winds and drops are rendered pliable within our body. And indeed, any inconducive condition, like as cancer or propensity for cancer, or imprints for a disease or any illness, that they are eradicated, because of course anything like that can be an obstacle to our spiritual practice. And so these are all eradicated, and our physical body is rendered absolutely perfect for engaging in Dharma practice. And in particular then, our mental attitude, the biggest problem of which is that really blocks us from being able to make quick progress on the path, is our adherence to ordinary appearance, of seeing things in their ordinary appearance. And that we see as completely inconducive. We eradicate that and we adopt a pure appearance.
What is what Yabushi Joso, that church real that Gege met, Kanga Tungi, Gege the Tungi to that jet with the Wakiwachato, that Gege met some water compassion, water, the name is that, so she to travel long in your language, Lama Shajas good the chicken channel, so Sugi and the Lute, Lama Shajas cool to some subject.
And so then we can pause there to really rejoice in what has occurred for us just now, that we have gotten rid of any possible inconducive conditions to our spiritual practice, and we have established everything we have is a conducive condition to enhance our spiritual practice. This is wonderful. This is great. This gives me such a wonderful opportunity. And then through the combination of our own most subtle wind acting as the substantial cause, with the body of the Buddha acting as the cooperative conditions, our own body transforms into the enlightened body of a Buddha.
And so the Shindo Travis same thing, your language, Lama Shajas and to the Hinji chicken, so the same thing, Lama Shajas and to the Josu, some subject.
Then through the combination of our own most subtle mind acting as the primary or principal cause, with the mind of the Buddha acting as the cooperative conditions, our own mind now transforms into the enlightened mind of a Buddha.
Ranga Lunga use on that, Tomasha just again, Lunga is a war you may chasso, some subject.
And now we know that our own body, speech, and mind are indivisible from the body, speech, and mind of an enlightened being.
And
And the faults of place also are completely purified, and it transforms into a pure realm for us. Again, rejoice that today is the day I've reached that point where I am in a state of great capacity to fulfill the goal of all sentient beings. How wonderful that is. This brings forth bliss in our minds, which combines with the voidness, and we abide in the wisdom of non-dual bliss and voidness. Now, seeing, knowing, as fully enlightened being, we emanate countless rays of light from our own heart center, and they enter into all of the 6 realms of existence of all sentient beings all around us. And entering into all the sentient beings there, we automatically establish them as fully enlightened Buddhas. And all the faults of place in which they reside are purified, and place also transforms into pure Buddha realm. So I have been able to now establish all sentient beings in the state of enlightenment. Today is the day that I've been able to do that. Absolutely wonderful. I rejoice.
That
is, this establishing all sentient beings in enlightenment, the virtue that has led that to that state, I, the agent who have engaged in that purpose, all lacking any objective existence and merely imputed by thought. From this contemplation arises bliss, and then voidness, and we abide in the non-dual bliss, the wisdom of non-dual bliss and voidness. Of course, we are doing all this, we are accomplishing all this at the level of just our imagination now, but we make a sincere and powerful dedication that whatever virtue that we have accumulated by doing this, that it is dedicated to the purpose of really making this manifest reality in our lives as quickly as possible.
So
we do our Lamrim dedication prayer. From my 2 collections, vast the space that I have amassed, from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds wisdom eye is blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I behave with loving compassion for all lives and tradition. May I find the best of completely created paths of the teachings, and may I gain all the Buddhas by my practice. Using skillful means drawn by the strong force of compassion, may I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings, that point to the path as I have discerned them. May I uphold Buddha's teachings for a very long time. With my heart going out with great compassion, in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread, or one spread have declined, may I reveal the treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted boundless peace, and the Buddha's deeds be nourished for a long time, by even this dreaded path to enlightenment completed, due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their children. May all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity and create conditions for practicing the excellent paths never be harmed in any of their lives, and reduce paths praised by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes effort to act in accordance with the 10-fold Mahayana virtuous practices,
May they always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may blessings and prosperity spread everywhere.
You are ability to strive a great treasure of compassion, not aim for true existence.
Especially Master of Flawless, as well as
Vegetation and destroyer of hordes of demons without exception.
Some
Apple, the crown jewel of the sages and boundless snows. Lord Sandra, at your feet I make requests.